So, to recap, the major incident types and causal factors include entry at incorrect level. Crews are encouraged to question the transferring domestic ATC agency when they haven't been cleared to the flight level specified in the Oceanic clearance. They should do this before entry into Oceanic airspace and before transfer of communication to Shanwick. Misinterpretation of conditional clearance phraseology, such as climb to reach by a specified point. If in doubt, always seek confirmation from ATC. GNE and Loterol Deviations. Aircrew following their flight-planned route instead of the Oceanic clearance is the main causal factor for these types of incidents. Strict adherence to SOPs to ensure flights follow the ATC clearance instead of the flight plan will help prevent these events. Misunderstandings where the Oceanic clearance begins and ends. This factor has contributed to many lateral deviations, especially in the eastbound phase. It's important that flight crew are aware of Oceanic boundaries, in particular to be aware of the Oceanic entry point and the Oceanic landfall. Shanwick westbound Oceanic clearances begin at the OCA boundary. Shanwick eastbound flights, routing via the Scottish, Shannon, Brest and Madrid FIRs, end at landfall. This is the point after the boundary existing within domestic ACC airspace. Unable to comply with an ATC restriction. Whether the restriction is based on time, speed or level, it's of paramount importance that ATC are advised as soon as possible. Informing ATC early could be the difference between maintaining and losing standard separation. Time amendments. Regardless of whether a time restriction has been imposed, flight crews must advise of any time change greater than 2 minutes from a previous estimate provided to ATC. Remember, procedural control is based upon accurate times being provided by crew. There will be times when ATC must cope with unusual situations, such as weather avoidance or aircraft in emergency. It's important for controllers to have some knowledge of the flight deck procedures that are used by aircrew when faced with such conditions. Likewise, a flight crew's appreciation of the controller's workload and methods of operation may also prove beneficial. When reacting to contingencies and emergencies, Shanwick will use established practices based on certain expectations of flight deck procedure. Such expectations will include that the flight crew will advise ATC as soon as practically possible of the contingency or emergency scenario. The declaration of a PAN or Mayday will be used appropriately. Declaring a PAN or Mayday as early as possible will improve Shanwick's handling of the situation and will negate the need for controllers having to ask pilots whether they're declaring an emergency. The flight crew have good situational awareness regarding the location of the OTS for that period, day or night. This is important for all flights, including those not cleared to operate along a NAT track, especially those flights overflying a NAT structure on a random routing which require emergency descent. Where pilots encounter adverse weather conditions, they may be required to adopt a weather offset. In such an event, it's expected that crews will adhere to the NAT weather avoidance procedures as detailed in NAT Doc 007. In relation to mitigation and collision avoidance, pilots should remember improved navigational equipment over recent years has meant that aircraft on North Atlantic tracks are flying their cleared routes with a greater degree of precision. Use of SLOP, the Strategic Lateral Offset procedure, where pilots randomly choose to fly the centerline or 1 or 2 nautical miles to the right of the centerline, will laterally spread aircraft on a track and reduce the risk of a collision if a level bust should occur. Left offsets are not permitted and do not form a part of the SLOP procedure.